We'll see. Welcome, family. Welcome to Family Soul Evening. Tonight, we get to hear from Wendy Bunnell. I'm so excited to have you all here. I want to make sure if anyone's just heard about this or coming for the first time that you know that we are so excited. This is part of our original big vision that Yin on Fire would launch a community, a family, a network of people who really care about each other. And I am a fan of FOC. That stands for Family of Choice. Having worked in the counseling field for 20 years, one of the things that is the most painful for people is when they feel like they don't belong, they're not safe, or they don't fit in with their biological families, or they've been rejected or betrayed, or things like that. One of the concepts I learned many years ago is how to create an FOC, a family of choice, meaning giving yourself permission to call into your life people to fill the role of mother, father, auntie, brother, sister, to fill the role who can nurture you, people who have it to give if maybe your biological relative didn't. And I felt so much of that love and connection and enthusiasm at Yin on Fire. Like it was so easy to connect with people that we were just soul siblings. And so this continuation is to allow us to get together and have time during our breakout rooms to get to know each other and to connect, to ask for support, to share talents, gifts, all of the things that you would do if you were hanging out, having a family night. And we get to hear from our presenters, our workshop providers, and more. So it gives us a little more time to hear from those that we missed their workshop or we want more of them. So, Wendy, do we have any other announcements? We're going to do this every Monday night and just keep it going. We have so many presenters to book out and we'll give you updates. Is there any announcement, Wendy, that I need to cover before I introduce you?
Wow, I don't think so. Other than invite your friends and your family that you want to have join this, because it isn't just for those that went on Yin on Fire. It is for those people that when you were at Yin on Fire and you were like, oh, I wish they would have been here, right? It's for them too. So make sure that you just pass that on. Is there anybody here that is not on our email list that would like to be on the email list, right? That you're not getting them, someone forwarded you this or something. If so, I think we're going to collect those, right? Tonight, Angel, we want to add you. So if you were invited by someone and we don't have your email, then please share that with us. We'll get you on the email list so that you can always know who's going to be speaking, what topic is going to be shared, so on and so forth.
Yeah, this is our free education series and we want it to go all year round. So anyone can join us. You can share it with any of your friends or contacts. Do you guys have like social media contacts like I do who I don't even know, but they comment on my cool stuff? And that's what Connie Salgado became because I did not know her, but she became this raving fan of Yin on Fire right away. And I was like, I could tell by her energy on everything she commented or posted. I was like, this is a soul sibling. And we met because she hit me with a bathroom stall door at the Electric Theater at a Mike Love concert. And so I was trying to come out of the toilet and the door came in and I hear this, excuse me. And I look and I was like, I knew her face from Facebook. You're Connie Salgado. She's like, you're Angel Lynn. It was just a choice meeting, Connie. I'll never forget. The universe brought us together in that bathroom stall. It was meant to be. I mean, that's where sisters hang out. Don't you hang out and talk to your sisters in the bathroom? Yeah, it was a special thing. So anyway, we want to invite everyone to our education series. And tonight we're going to hear from Wendy Bunnell. And Wendy, as you know, if you were at Yin on Fire, you probably know a little bit about her. But beyond amazing work that she's done in the Utah Foster Care Foundation or system and having been a real estate agent, she also has held and orchestrated many different conferences for women, workshops, seminars, conferences, retreats. And last year, Wendy, you're coming up on your 1 year anniversary. I believe it was November that this book came out. The book title is Truth and Dare, Daring to Live Your Truth in a Fake World. It's available on Amazon. I'm going to post the link in the chat while she's talking. But you also can get it on Audible, and it's one of my favorite things to listen to while I get ready in the morning because it's like having her with you and her voice walking through and telling her stories. They just resonate. So I'm so excited and grateful to be able to introduce and turn the time over to this amazing, triumphant woman who has walked through hell multiple times and comes out more and more refined and humble and powerful and stunning in her ability to recognize truth in her body. So that body of hers that has been through so much trauma, I believe it's the trauma and the work she has done has also brought her an acute awareness through her body that it's a vessel of truth that can that she can recognize when truth is spoken. She'll say, I feel it in my body. And these were experiences we had working together as a team and planning in on fire when we were trying to make a tough decision. She would answer that way. I feel that's a yes in my body. So I want to turn the time over to Wendy. Thank you so much, Wendy.
Angel, thank you. Thank you. And I'm just looking at all these beautiful individuals on here are we so grateful for technology, for us to be able to continue on this relationship and to, oh, yes, I love all your faces. We've got, roughly 20 people on here. And I know that the people who are here are wanting to understand in more depth their true wholeness, that never broken part of them. We have these thoughts and ideas that somehow we've done this that created a rift in who we are. And so I'm really excited. And for those of you that know me well enough, I love to pull from this, my favorite deck. It's called the Kuan Yin deck. And so I would just love to, I drew a card right before you guys came. We did that last week as well. And let me share with you what that is, and then we'll just go right into our learning. So I pulled this card right here. Isn't that a beautiful picture there? It's the Lady of Lhasa Descends. So I'm going to read you just a little bit of it. And I want you to see if it resonates within you, because I always believe whenever I pull a card, there's someone out there, many of you, that are going to resonate with this message. How hard you have been working. You have accomplished so much by your own efforts. You are on a path to me, a path that at times seems difficult and perhaps even dangerous. Yet in order to reach me, you are willing to take the journey. You have shown your commitment, your refusal to turn back even when much is asked of you. I see some of the perils that lie before you, and I see that it is not necessary for you to endure them. So I come to you. No longer do you need to seek. I bring to you what you have been seeking. In a reading, let's see, in a guidance, I'm going to do the first just the first sentence on all of them so we can get going. But guidance. The path before you, leading you towards the destination you desire, lies in wait. You may continue upon your current path of pursuit if you so choose. It is, however, not necessarily going to become easier to continue that journey. At times, it may even seem more difficult. So you have reached a point in your journey where you must let go. Do not fear that you have to give up your quest. The Divine Mother wishes to give to you what you have been seeking. She has compassion for your plight and wishes to become a bridge between your human methods of endurance and effort by greeting you as a friend with a heart full of merciful grace, bearing gentle comfort and a special gift. In a reading, it is time to shift gears from pursuit to receptivity. Don't unintentionally push away your desire by chasing after it too hard. I really believe that this card is so absolutely timely because of what I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. You see, I remember a time when I was very young. I was raised by parents that loved me. Now they were in their own disconnection. They were doing the best they could, not understanding how to be fully connected to themselves. So they weren't able to fully be connected to their children, but they were still kind and loving parents. And I remember myself when I was young. Oh, I used to love to dance and I used to love to sing. And I was in like this creative world, this creative bubble for so much of my life. And I loved life. I just remember singing and connecting and loving life, just being like this I guess you would call it a hummingbird, right? I love that. I feel like that's my spirit totem animal. But there was some time right around my teenage years that things started to change. And I had some things that happened in my teenage years that created such a disconnect from my own truth that I started to believe that was the new story. I was raped when I was 15. I was gang raped when I was 17. And in those moments, I made some decisions and I forgot the essence of who I was. I believed and put some ideas, programs, stories, and beliefs based on those things. And the belief that I started to layer my life on was permanently broken. I was permanently broken. I remember going to church and hearing and seeing the box of donuts that the leader would bring, and then they would lick one of them and ask if we wanted one of those. And that, of course, applied to chastity. Well, you guys, I was the lick donut. Them not realizing, them not trying to be malicious, but they didn't know that I was the lick donut in that scenario. So here I am, a girl hiding from this place of shame and not realizing that every decision based on that started to layer this shadow that shadowed me from my true self. What happened next is it took me many years before I went into a place where my body started to try and give me messages to help me realign with my truth. And when I wouldn't wail or cry or feel the emotions that I had buried so deeply based on those things that happened in my life, my body started to do it for me. And it started to happen in the form of autoimmune issues, to the point where I could barely get out of bed. And sometimes the thing that I could only do in one given day was get to the mailbox. That was my goal for the day. Now, what a beautiful turn of events that moment and time was for me, because my body started to help me understand and come back to the truth of what was happening, that my thoughts, my actions, and the way that I showed up in my life was not in alignment with who I was. So thus began this journey back to myself. About a year and a half ago, I was in Angel's class, one of her classes, and I was sharing some things with her, and I felt very impressed that it was time to write a book. And she aligned me with a great mentor of mine that helped me to channel my book. And I'm going to tell you, if you ever want a baptism by fire, all you need to do is write a book. And so the book that came into that was channeled out of me is this book right here. It is called Truth and Dare, Daring to Live Your Truth in a Fake World. Each one of the chapters starts with one of my own stories. One of my own stories that helped me to understand the truth of that principle. And I started to see the beauty in all of my stories. I started to, because when we bring those stories out into the light dismantles all the lies, all the shadows, all the things that we buried, all of the shame, all of the guilt, all of the emotion that's buried can start to come out and be seen. And when it hits the light, we can see the beauty. We can see the absolute miraculousness of them, and that everything happens for us, not against us. And that's what I started to see unfold right before my eyes. And I'm going to tell you, as I started to do this, I'm going to tell you there are 3 parts that got me back to a place where I am today, where I have absolute optimal health, where I can actually sleep through the night and have energy during the day. I can utilize my spiritual gifts for things that matter to me, like yin on fire, for connecting and letting people remember who they are. I believe that my gift is just simply to awaken people to the whole version of themselves and to remember what it's like to live in joy, to live in bliss, to live in pleasure, to create abundance in every single area of our life. I believe that that's one of my gifts that I have. And it delights me like nothing else when I see my brothers and my sisters return back to the truth and the wholeness that was always there and that was never broken to begin with. So I'm going to tell you, if you are in a place of struggle right now, if you are in a place of chaos, and that there are things that are really heavy on your soul, on your spirit, and you're trying so hard. That was the part that I noticed, that I was constantly looking outside of myself for evidence and validation that I was okay. I had to see it was based on what I did, not who I was. I wanted to have massive abundance so that I could feel like I was worthwhile. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be recognized. I wanted to have kudos. I wanted to have all of the awareness and maybe the notoriety and the power and the control so that I could feel like I had power and control over my own life. And here I am in a place of flow and trust. I'm leaving tomorrow to go to Costa Rica for 40 days so that I can enjoy the beautiful country of Costa Rica, and with a cherry on top, where I get a few sisters that get to come down with me and share in the beauty and the grandeur of Costa Rica and go through a transformational process with me as we unfold and unpack this. I am in a place where I am living in unlimited possibilities. And the reason why I share this is absolutely not to brag, but because I want you to see that all of us can have whatever we desire in our hearts if we will listen and we will believe that we are worthy to receive those things. So how did I do this? How did I do this for me? I'm going to tell you that there's 3 parts that I would like to talk about that perhaps could help unravel and unlayer one of the pieces in your own stories. Because we all have stories. You have a story. You have a story that started to shape and change your perception of what was really true. And as we started to go off track, it just continued to go down this road where we kept going off track. So how do we get back on track? How do we believe and know we can have anything we want, that we can live any sort of life that we want? Well, I've come down to 3 different things in my book. The first piece is that we connect to ourselves. And this was beautiful. I actually read this morning, which of course is synchronistic, right? There's never a coincidence. But the first place that I had to remember is I had to stop demonizing this body of mine and start to love it and start to realize that it was a vessel of truth and light, that it could bring me messages that would help navigate this world so much better if I didn't push the messages away, try to turn them off, make them go away. And then with my emotions, that they were an internal guidance system so that we could learn from our emotions when we are out of alignment, when we have that low vibrational energy of sadness or loneliness or anger. Those are beautiful messages saying, hey, check in with your thoughts. Perhaps you're not thinking things that are truth. And that war between here and here is simply that we have dissonant energy going back and forth, right? The truth is here and the truth is in our gut. And sometimes our head gets in the way from knowing what that truly is. And so I'm going to just read this really quick. I loved this little quote. So this is part of Sophia's code. I don't know if any of you guys have it, but this is in the key code 5. And Mary Magdalene in this chapter is saying, your body is asking for you to understand that it is a highly loving and responsive supercomputer, yet it does not want to be held responsible for the outcome of your life. Your body knows that its purpose and functions are designed to tell the truth of your higher self by providing moment-by-moment intuitive biofeedback that acts as an emotional navigation system for making conscious choices of alignment. The neurological biofeedback of your body is extraordinary. It accurately and instantly tracks every thought you are thinking, even before the thought is fully formed, with correlating emotions. Before self-criticizing thought has finished its biting remark about you, a physical pain or contraction can be felt within your body as an emotional discomfort. Likewise, a positive thought about yourself will open and expand the wings of your heart before that thought is even formulated into words. This emotional feedback creates a magnetism towards what you want and a repulsion towards what no longer serves you. So we can look at our bodies and recognize that what it's saying is to signal you that you are either in truth or you are slightly out of truth or you are out of alignment. And that's really what our bodies do. Now, you heard from Brianna Anderson last week that all of you probably do this a little bit different based on your human design. And if you don't remember what your human design is, or you never got it, I would highly encourage you to seek after that information and find out what your authority is. For me, it's my emotions. My emotions allow me to know whether something is in truth and it feels open and expansive and it feels really good, or it feels closed and contracted and it doesn't feel good. Now, for some of you, you may be a sacral authority. So it's going to go, or That's down in that gut, that sacral space. For some of you, it's splenic. And so you just have a knowing. You don't have to feel it. You just know. And the more you trust it and the more you go with that, the more you connect with that place of knowing. So we start to do that. We start to allow ourselves to fall in love with our body again. Maybe the first thing that you do is start to look at yourself. Perhaps maybe for the first time, catch yourself glancing into the mirror, and rather than being repulsed and not wanting to see it, maybe you catch your eye. Maybe you start to see your spirit. Maybe you start to see your soul. Maybe you start to see you. Maybe one day as you pass, you can look and say, there's my best friend. There's my best friend. Maybe you can get to that space if you start to unravel the lies that we've created and you get to a place where you're absolutely in alignment. Using that beautiful those emotions, allow them to teach you. And when you are not in alignment and you feel that heavy dissonant energy, maybe it's loneliness, maybe it's sadness, maybe it's just this constricted feeling. Perhaps you could bring your awareness and love and allow yourself to hold that feeling for a minute instead of pushing it away. Maybe it'll tell you something, and maybe you're just simply showing up for yourself. And as you learn to meet that with love, you'll now be able to move that energy, because energy is emotion, is energy in motion. Excuse me. Emotion is energy in motion. So we start to learn to move. Maybe you start moving it by walking or dancing or celebrating, or using your voice to get it out. Maybe we use vibration and sound to get it out. But learning to love that piece and accept every part of you is really where we start to find our freedom. The second part that by the way, I'm going to give you lots of time to ask questions. So don't feel like, if you have questions, please, in about 5 minutes, I'll have questions that I'll try and do my best to answer. The next part is learning to align with that truth. Now, once we start to listen to the messages in our body, whether it is that feeling or the emotions, and we start to honor those things instead of pushing them away. And most of you will have an opportunity to get some of those stuck emotions that you perhaps didn't want to process way back in the day, but now you're starting to learn that it's okay to feel those, and you feel in order to heal. You start to move those emotions. The next part would be, so now we're connecting to ourselves. The next thing would be connecting to others, connecting in order to start seeing people in their truth and light as well. Now, we can start doing, I actually want to back up a little bit and start to align in quiet spaces. The other thing that I learned through my journey was I needed to learn how to align with my body, mind, and spirit. So you guys can have lots of different ways that you do that. Some of you do yoga and you have a beautiful yoga practice that allows yourself to move into a body, mind, soul connection. Some of you, it is chanting or breath work. For some of you, it is sound healing. For some of you, it's meditation or active meditation. In fact, I would love for you in the chat, what form of connection and alignment do you find the most helpful? Is it prayer? Is it meditation? Is it movement? Is it sound? Is it breath work? Is it all of the above, right? Okay. These are the things that you're going to learn to connect to that piece of yourself, right? We're clearing the clutter. We're getting to a place of absolute acceptance in our body and our emotions. And now we're learning to align with ourselves, align with our essence, align with others, and aligning to the divine. The last piece that I wanted to talk about. So I do a 3-part process in almost everything that I do. The first one is release. So releasing the old that are keeping us withheld from the truth within. The next is realign. And the third is receive. And I believe that receiving is probably the hardest part of the 3 that most people have a disconnect with. It's easy to give. It's easy to do. It's easy to go and do all of those things, right? It's easy to place ourselves on the sacrificial altar to show that we are someone who serves and loves and connects, and especially for our family and our children. But I'm going to tell you right now, when you choose you choose everyone, because they get the best version of you. When you choose and you choose to receive help, receive play, receive money. Do you know that money is a vibration and abundance is for all of us? And the thing that I see the most in the healing and spiritual community are individuals who are very connected, very giving, very serving, and they forget the piece of reciprocity of receiving. So I see a lot of people struggling financially in the spiritual realm. And I want you to know that it doesn't need to be that way. In fact, it isn't supposed to be that way. There is abundance for all of us in all areas. And that when we see that we have, and that we are able to open ourselves up and we're not scarce and we're not holding on to things so tight because we're afraid that they're going to go away, then we're allowed to open up our hands and we receive. We receive and we know that all of our needs are going to be met. All of our needs are going to be met at all times and all places. And so we start to learn to receive. And we do that in little ways, right? We start to recognize that we have, when you are paying your bills, the next time you pay your bill, I encourage you to have the attitude, I am so grateful I have the money to pay this bill. I'm so grateful I have this money to buy this cup of coffee. I'm so grateful that I have enough to give a tip to this server, and I'm going to give a healthy tip because I have the money. We start to realize we have everything we want, and we start to learn to receive that we can do things not alone, but in teams. I got to learn this in Again on Fire I had an old program that said I had to do everything myself and I couldn't rely on anybody outside of myself, that I ended up doing it myself anyways. And I started to recognize that was just not something that was going with me, that I had community, I had connection, and I had trust, and I had flow with everybody around me. And that's how the magic happened with Yin on Fire, was we connected. We did it as a team. We didn't do it individually. And we learned how to utilize everybody's spiritual gifts on a higher level. So learning how to receive. So you've got the release, you've got the realign, you have the receive. And that is receiving love, receiving connection, receiving help, receiving play, receiving money. Those are all those things. And it's all tied to worth and value. When we know that our worth and value is unlimited, then we have unlimited possibilities in our world. We have unlimited financial resources. We have unlimited travel opportunities and connection. And that's why I shared with you at the very beginning some of the unfolding and the things that happened to me over the course of the last few years with my health, my relationship, my abundance, my ability to create. And you all have this. It's for all of you. It's not just for a few individuals. It's for all of you. And I can't wait to watch all of you just blossom even more than you already are. So you're already magnificent individuals, allowing yourself to shine your light on this sometimes dark and dreary world. And here you are just unfolding one more piece. I am available for any questions at this point. I would love to. I know that when I did my favorite thing in when I came to talk to your groups about my book, Angel, was, no, not everybody has read this book. So some of you have, some of you haven't, but I would love to have questions. What piece of this would you like me to explain, or maybe give you my point of view, or some suggestions that might be blocking you from this unlimited possibility, whole version of yourself? Let's see. Okay. I would love to learn more about receiving. In which way? Is it more about receiving money, Connie? Is that what it is? Or is it perhaps something else? Give me a little bit more on receiving. What part of receiving would you like to learn about?
Go ahead and unmute yourself, Connie, and let us hear you if you can. Just clarify. She's saying in the chat, Wendy, mostly money, how to allow.
You know, money is interesting. I actually watch it visually with people, and I love to talk about money because I love watching people start to make money and create money and to see that they can do it, just like anything else. Money is a vibration. Money is something that if we keep ourselves in high vibration, money flows a lot easier. And so oftentimes people want to do the thing to make the money, right? I'm going to tell you one of the things that I was in real estate for a long time. And there was a funny little thing we would say in real estate that applies to all things money. When a real estate agent goes on vacation, it is the craziest thing that I'm telling you. Every time I would go in a plane and I would land that plane into whatever country I was going into, I would get a little text message that said, Wendy, I just sent you an offer. It's in your inbox. And I would get mad because here I am on vacation. But let me tell you, the vibration of having fun is very high. So sometimes when we're creating, we think we have to get things done. We've got to work harder. We have to work more hours. We got to get things done. The best thing you can do for your businesses is to keep your vibration high. And sometimes it's literally turning on music and dancing around your house, or it's going on a walk, or it is going out with friends, or it's going on vacation. It's going and doing things that you love because it keeps your vibration really high, and money is attracted to those things and high vibration. And you start to think outside of what you know. It's interesting. As I was creating my last thing that I was involved, I kept thinking I was supposed to have 8 people. I was supposed to have 8 people. I was supposed to have 8 people. And it worked right with the return on investment, the things that I was paying for other people, the expenses that I was having. And then I got out of it and just went, I surrendered. That's another piece of receiving, is I surrender. And I didn't get hung up on who that was. I was like, oh, great. It's 6 people. That's exactly what I'm supposed to have. And then all of a sudden, a real estate deal, I haven't done real estate in 2 years, landed right in my lap. And it was the exact amount of money that 2 additional people would have created. So you get out of the way of how it's going to happen, and you allow yourself to receive, and you don't get hung up on how it shows up. It will show up. Okay. I also put the universal order. I say, okay, universe, this is what I'm looking for. And I put my order out there, right? This is what I'm looking for. This is the amount of money. These are the amount of resources. This is what I'm looking for. And I also ask my angelic team to go and do it. Hey, travel agent Angel, show me where we're going and what we're doing, right? Oh, that angel. And so I go give assignments too. Hey, I need you to do this, and I need you to do this. And hey, by the way, I need you to do this. And then things are easy. Things can be easy. Finances can be easy. Help can be easy. We make it hard because we think we have to do instead of be. So bring the mountain to you instead of you going and climbing up the mountain, right? Start to learn how to create and make it flow. I love the analogy someone said the other day about yin energy versus yang energy. Yang energy is the structure of, if you were looking at a river, it's the structure, it's the riverbeds, it's navigating it. And then the yin energy is the water. It flows, it creates change, it channels. It doesn't matter how it happens. It just flows, and it goes over the obstacles. It goes around the obstacles, right? So we need to learn that structure, because we're really good at structure and we're really good at doing, but we forget the yang energy or the yin energy, which means we flow and we don't care how it shows up. We just allow it to come and we receive, right? Does this make sense? Are you guys understanding what I'm talking about? The biggest thing that I can say is start in a practice of having, especially with money. When you realize you have everything you need, none of you guys are I don't think anybody in this group is probably struggling with their next meal. At least I hope not. And if it is, then I would invite you to receive from your soul family tribe. Okay. But so we have, every time you're eating, I am so grateful I have this food and the sustenance. I'm putting my shoes on. I'm so grateful I have my shoes. I'm so grateful that I can walk. I also love being barefoot. I'm barefoot right now. I love putting my feet in the grass, and I'm so grateful I have a body that has the ability to be walking right now. So we learn to have, and then we're not hanging on for dear life on everything, right? I actually talked to a financial advisor the other day, and I think I shocked that person quite frankly. I said, I always have enough. I don't need a 401k or a Roth IRA because I don't need to plan and forecast and hoard my money. I always have enough. And I always do. I always have enough. I always have enough abundance. I always have enough money. I always have enough in my relationships because I just expect it. And that's the vibration that I keep myself at. So opportunities are magnetized to individuals that just know they have enough. You have enough. Live in the vibration of having enough and start to look for the opportunities, and then take that beautiful masculine energy to go and get those next opportunities. Take intentional action instead of frenzied action, because that frenzied action makes you tired, makes you depleted. Does that make sense? Are we getting that? Are we starting to understand? So just start being in the vibration of having. Start being in the vibration of gratitude, and start looking for opportunities for what you are wanting to create and how you want to create more abundance in your life, especially when it pertains to money. Money is beautiful because we can actually tangibly see it in our account, whereas some of the other things that when we're growing, we don't always see it in live action. But money is one that is really fun to watch. And my mantra is money is easy. Money's easy. Money's fun. So getting into the vibration of maybe moving into that, because really, you guys, we can do, as spiritual leaders that you are, and healing professionals and people who are in a conscious community, we can do so much more with abundance. Did you all agree? Money is an expander. So if we're a good person, it expands more of what we can do. If we're not such a good person, then it can expand that too. But you're on this call. You're all good people. You're all trying to serve and love and connect. So it just expands the version of you that is beautiful and loves to serve and loves to connect. We probably got about maybe 5 more minutes for
that came through in the chat. They wanted to, I was trying to track and write down your number 1, 2, 3 that you gave tonight. So was number 3 about receiving? Was that your third point? Yeah.
Yes. And I want you guys to know that if you have money issues, receiving can come from help too. How many of you try to do things and you never ask for help? Raise of hands. How many of you? Okay. My encouragement is that you ask for help. There's so many individuals around you that want to help you. And so you start learning to receive in multiple areas, right? You start learning to receive with that help, with that assistance, that teamwork, and that takes a little bit of trust. And it also takes a little bit of humble nature to say, you know what? I am a human and I do need help, and I deserve help. I deserve help, just like everybody else deserves help. I deserve help. I do want to talk a little bit about self-betrayal. Is that okay? Or do we have more questions? I find that the number one thing that individuals do that slows down their progression of seeing their wholeness is that they do things to be nice instead of kind. That they do things because they want this family member or this spouse or these children to have all of these things or these opportunities. And they continue to constantly betray that inner voice that when the body is telling them it's open and it's ready and it's expansive, and they want to move forward with something that really lights their fire, they will I see individuals self-betraying by allowing themselves to talk themselves out because they feel guilt out of the fact that they're taking time for themselves or money for themselves or resources for themselves, and they self-betray over and over. They do things out of guilt. They do things out of shame. They do things out of obligation instead of because they want to serve. And I said this a little bit before, but I'm going to say it again. When you choose you, you choose everyone. Because when you choose you and you choose your body's messages and you say no when you mean to say no, and you say what you mean and mean what you say, you start to trust yourself. You stop stabbing yourself in the back over and over. And you start to show up in this place of absolute wholeness and oneness and love. And people want to be around you. That you are the best version of yourself. And so your kids get the best version of you, not the pissed off, tired, frustrated, overwhelmed version of yourself, but the one that's really lit on fire. And they get to see how they can do it too. And you're the best example for them. You get to be with a spouse that gets to have a completely lit up on fire version of yourself. And I'm going to tell you women, there's a lot of women in this room. There's nothing sexier to a man than a woman who is happy and joyful and is allowing herself to be in her essence. And I would say the same for men. There's nothing sexier than a man that will express his emotions, be authentic, be available emotionally, right? So when we show up and we start to honor those messages that come into our body, when we start to release the old, realign to the truth, and receive what is always our birthright, we start to show up in a different version of ourselves. And we truly are truth and daring to live our truth in a fake world. The world will say that you have to do all of these systems to get somewhere. And what I'm going to ask you is to be a system rebel and to create your own system, because your system is internally. Allow your GPS, your internal GPS, to guide you, and you will never get it wrong. In fact, you can't get this life wrong. You really can't. It's like the sandbox, like you get to play in the sandbox. And I have to tell you, it's really been beautiful to return to that space where I can dance and play and sing and love like I did when I was little. So when they say become like a little child, I don't think that it's an analogy. I think it's really, truly where we're supposed to be, in that place of curiosity and awe and love and light. And oh my gosh, look at this amazing world. And we start to see the world with different eyes. We start to see that we can stay in the eye of the storm instead of being in the storm. We start to see that this life is so beautiful. Yeah, we have a lot of evidence that it's hard, but we don't need to stay in that evidence. We can stay apart from it and stay in this place of light and love and connection. So, any other questions?
I have two questions.
Yeah.
So like for receiving and self-betrayal, I find myself like shutting down. Like say I'll share something about like being an herbalist and like selling tinctures or capsules, then I don't get any response. So I go from like being lit up and like, oh, I'm doing this, to like, oh, I'm not supposed to do this. So
Yes.
what are some tools to push past that? That's my first question.
So one of the things that I would encourage you to do is that when you see someone shut down, there is a belief that you are applying to yourself. What is it that you're saying to yourself when people shut down? Because that makes you shut down. What is it about that you're taking internally, because you're actually vibrating that same message back to them. What is the thing that goes on to you that people like? You tell me the words that come to you. What are the things you're saying to yourself?
So just when people aren't responsive to my gifts that I'm sharing, I'm just like, oh, maybe I'm not healed enough yet, or I'm not worth it, or like this doesn't matter. This doesn't have any value.
Okay, there you go. Doesn't have any value. It doesn't matter. Nobody's listening. Nobody values what I have, right? What I'm willing to share. So learning to come back to your pieces of yourself that say, nobody listens. I'm not of value. And going there and connecting with those pieces, whether it's journaling, meditating, walking, doing the work to feel those emotions and come to terms with those thoughts. What happens is you vibrate the very same thing that you're thinking, okay? And you're sending these telepathic messages to people. If I don't believe that what I have is of value, then they're not going to either. Now, when you start to really embody your information, now the biggest thing too is I would encourage you to speak what it matters to them. What is it about what you have to offer that's going to add value to their life? What is it about you embodying that information that now that your knowledge can now help and allow them to shift in a different frequency or become a better version of them or a true version of themselves, right? Like, what about your knowledge is going to help them? Make it about them, right? When we're serving, we serve because we want to meet them there. We want to love them. We want to see them. Everybody wants to be seen, heard, and understood. And that's what you're seeking as well. So my invitation is to go to those pieces of you that doesn't feel validated, that doesn't feel seen, that doesn't feel heard, because you need to see yourself. You need to hear yourself. You need to validate yourself. That's where it starts.
Thank you. And my second question, because I used to, like, as a child, I used to dance around and sing, and I was told, shut up, be quiet, like, stop, So besides, like, being around people, like Ian on Fire, and reminding myself that I am safe, like, how can I get back into that? Because it scares me to be big.
And for most of us, we're more fearful of that big, louder, larger than life version of ourselves than we are of the small, right? So we start showing up for ourselves. What I did for my own personal journey was I started to just do things that I loved, not because I was in a community of people who were doing it. I just did it because I finally remembered what I loved. I would turn on music. I would be doing dishes, dancing and doing dishes, right? And feeling the sudsy water and feeling the warmth on my hands and loving to see, hey, now it's dirty, now it's clean. Isn't that cool? It's like a magic trick. And I loved every part of my experience. I learned how to turn into a blissful event. And it didn't have to be with community. It could just be with me. So you can find those things. If you used to dance as a little kid, turn on your favorite music and dance around your house. Nobody has to be there with you. You can do that all by yourself, right? One of the things I did, this is funny. When I was a little kid, I used to suds up the shower, like really, like with tons and tons and tons of soap. And I would pretend I was ice skating in my shower. So I'd turn off the water and I would pretend I can't believe I didn't kill myself. So this is actually one thing that Angel asked me to do, because we were talking about, what did I do when I was little? What did I do that I loved? And that thought came up. And as a freaking adult, I kid you not, this was like 2 years ago, I sudsed up the shower floor, and I was very careful because, at 50, you don't quite skate like you do when you're 7. But I skated in I pretend soap skated in my shower. Do the things that you did when you were little. Remember what it's like to be free. Remember what it's like to dance and be curious of this world, right? And I'm loving the comments that are coming through. All right. I think it's probably time for us to separate into little groups though, huh? And maybe we could continue the
something.
discussion. Maybe we could talk about this in our groups. I don't know. What do you guys, Angel, what do you want to do in our
Yeah,
groups?
well, yes, we're going to go into breakout rooms tonight. We have 4 hosts so that we can be in smaller groups to connect and get to know these faces. You're looking at your screen and you see faces and names. You might remember some of them from the festival because you saw them in passing or they gave a workshop. So as we go into breakout rooms, we're going to ask you to just follow your heart and choose. And let's debrief this discussion or turn this into a discussion. We've heard Wendy share some things, and I would invite everybody to be willing to say something that hit you. And my favorite thing about being in the energy of a group like this is it's just dedicating this time for you. Everybody has paused their life a little bit to be here. And sometimes things come to you. I call them spiritual downloads. It might not even have been what she said, but what you heard and felt, like an answer you were seeking. So share those things in your group. But Wendy, before we go there, I have something from your son to share with everyone. So I want to do a share screen.
Luke and I created this week. So this is fun.
One of Wendy's remarkable gifts that has come out is her ability to co-create videos with her amazing son, who is studying and mentoring videography. And he put together some of our best pieces, and he is a budding videographer. And so they pulled this off and got it ready for this, and he sent it to me. So are you able to see my screen? I'm sharing. Can you see it, Wendy?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Can you hear? I can't hear it though.
Is your stuff up? Okay, somebody else, let me know if you can hear it. Can anyone hear it? There's no sound.
No, I can't hear it.
It says that I'm sharing my screen.
Oh, there is a way to do it. You have to go on your settings and you have to share yeah. Dang it.
You can open yours. He emailed it to you too.
All
So
right.
check your email and see if you know how to do it. I've never had a problem with sound.
Let's take a look. Okay, there we go. Okay, so if you can give me
real quick, try this real quick.
Yin on Fire.
Can you hear now?
Began as a global call
I hear some
to
nods.
awaken, harmonize.
Okay, I found the tab that said share sound and it's working. I never knew that. So here we go. Turn your volume up, y'all. Here's some highlights.
Yin on Fire began as a global call to awaken, harmonize, and unify the feminine and the masculine within each of us. Yin, the energy of flow, connection, pleasure, and community. It is a we energy. In the beginning of its creation, we imagined hundreds of master healing practitioners gathering in southern Utah in absolute reciprocity of serving and teaching. And just as important, to receive in return. We imagined building a community of like-minded individuals who respected and cared for one another. And the festival ended up being more than what anyone could have imagined or hoped for. It was beyond what our human awareness could see. People gathering on 65 acres of pristine and sacred ground, wandering through quiet spaces of beauty, meditating in the labyrinth, sitting in workshops about connection, wholeness, and truth. Learning to unify body, mind, and spirit through movement, touch, dance, breathwork, and sound. Remembering how to play once again, and learning that life is about joy and experiencing all that it has to offer. Gathering at night in community to rejoice, dance, heal, love, and connect with other like-minded individuals. burning the old stories, programs, and beliefs of the past, and lighting up the purpose and passion within in the present. Remembering the never broken parts of ourselves and returning to wholeness that has always been. Our first ever soul family reunion. Celebrating life, celebrating growth, celebrating the oneness and wholeness within. In 2024, we will expand our family and include more that are a vibrational match for this experience. Yin on Fire, a collective healing festival. Will you join our 2024 Soul Family Reunion? We welcome you to the more you have been seeking. Welcome home.
That was so fun to watch the smiles, you guys. Watch your faces light up. I was just having fun watching you smile and remember. Oh, well done. Wendy has such a great way with writing the narration for those things, and her son edits so well and films well. Okay, any comments before we open breakout rooms? What was it like to see that? Take me back, Mackenzie says. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open these rooms. I hope you can all see. If you're on the phone, it usually shows up at the top. And if you're on a computer, it's down at the bottom at breakout rooms. Let me know if you're having trouble or if this is new to you. So our hosts will need to choose their own room as well. I have to find my own room. I'm going to wait here till everybody jumps over. We had 1804.
I can't figure it out.
Okay, are you on a phone or computer?
Oh, aha.
Ah! Cute. You got it. Okay. If you're on a phone, you kind of tap it, and then it usually, at least on my iPhone, a little box shows up at the top. If you're on a computer, it's down at the bottom next to the chat and participants. You guys all good? Nope. So Melissa, you're still looking. Are you on a phone or computer? Looks like you might be on a computer or iPad.
Sorry, I'm on my phone.
Okay. If you tap your phone and look up at the top left, does it, when you tap on Zoom, does it open up? A little,
Just
little
says Wendy on it. Sorry, let me see.
let's see. I bet I can help do something.
Oh,
here.
there's like, okay, let me,
Melissa.
yeah, I am computer illiterate.
Okay, so do you have someone I can help you? I can assign you to Bree, Beth, Wendy, or me. Do you want to go somewhere?
Bree works. I don't know
Okay.
who she is, but
See if that sent you a notification.
yes, thank.
Pat, do you need help? Okay, Pat, can you see something now? Okay, click on that. All right.
So the meeting ends at 8:15 and I'm wondering if everyone hopped off. You guys only see us four too? Yeah. That's totally what happened. Okay, well, that was a crappy closing, so it might just be over.
Somehow we need to then get some
Oh, here we
numbers
go.
here so that we can have that event
there
happen,
is everyone.
share it on Facebook or get some people together in a group. That'd be so
Yes.
cool.
Aaron, I'm actually sending you my number as well right now. And then Dr. Trina, I have yours, and then Melissa, I will reach out to you as well.
Okay. And we can go from there and then invite others. And we can
Yes.
just have a few hours to hang out over at the park, over at the Virgin River, wherever we
So
want to
fun.
get together and just spend a few hours.
I love that. Community is
sweet.
so fulfilling.
Oh, looks like we have others joining us now.
I know, I thought everyone left because we were early.
Wendy, you're a mute. There you go.
Mute, that never happens. Ah, how are some of my favorite people? Shane and hello, Melissa. How are you? And of course,
Good, how are you?
and who else is in here? Erin is here. Great, wonderful. We were talking human design in this group.
A little bit. I tried to connect them to their authorities and figure that out, but a lot of it was so good on just sharing our heart and what community is, just that we're craving community. I think like everyone else, just wanting to get together and actually go to a park and actually embody more of the leaning on one another versus the old story of I am alone. So
Hey, that came up with ours too. Just
Yep.
the comfort level of, well, and there's that comfort level of just being home. It's easier. I feel comfortable with me. I accept me. I love me. When I go out, I don't feel that acceptance, right?
It's not okay to be me, essentially.
Yeah. But we talked about that, and I think that that's a story that's changing. Oh, look who
I see him when you're talking all the time.
that's creepy. It's like Halloween.
Almost.
It is.
Are the other groups still on? Is Angel's
I
group
don't
and
know.
Beth's group?
Angel. Okay. She's got some emotional tears happening in her group, so she doesn't want to end yet. So love you, love you.
Yes.
I am going to I want to honor our time so that you guys
Yes.
don't, oh great, we're gonna get on and we're on here for 3 hours. So if you guys want to exchange numbers or you want to exchange emails and build the community so that Hunter, are you down here too?
Yeah, I'm in St. George.
Okay, so Janita is in St. George or Washington. Hunter is in St. George, and you guys were talking about maybe doing something. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. On the 29th. I won't be here, but other people may. Okay.
So my house is over by Shinab Kibe, which is the big mountain that actually looks over the Sullivan Soccer Park. It's only about a 20-minute hike to the top, and there's a medicine wheel at the top and just an amazing view of the entire valley of St. George.
Yeah.
And so we were thinking about getting together either at Sullivan Soccer Park or at Shinab Kibe so that we could hike up to the top and just have an amazing few hours.
Fabulous. I love that. Well, at what time are you guys getting together so that others can know? And
we haven't established all of those details just yet.
Okay. Well, great. If anybody wants to put something together, I think that was a great idea. We can put it on the Facebook group, even if you wanted to, and just announce, hey, we're having a get together. We're doing this hike. And I think that's great. I think that's what people are really wanting, is that community that they can go and they can, it's not just once a year. It's over and over and over. So
yep.
Love that. All right. Well, you
We live
guys,
in a beautiful place here in St. George to have lots of different hikes, and we're headed in some of the best time of year to go out for hikes.
Yes. Love that. Well, thank
Love
you guys for showing up. I didn't get to meet with all of you, but I'll just say again, it makes me excited to see new faces. And I'm really excited that you guys keep showing up because it feels fulfilling when we allow ourselves to be seen and then to be witnessed. So thank
Yes.
you. That
Thank
feels so good. Thank you for taking time tonight.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Why is it being recorded? Hey, Aaron, you're back in the main room. What's up? Are you sure?